What's going on, y'all? Timothy Wills here, back again with another video. I got another one. This one for the ladies, and I'm gonna break down why we shouldn't compare men back then to the men of today. Well, we compare men back then we saying these men have gotten soft or are not as good as the men of back then. And even though that may be true, I can explain why. I know we all should know why, specifically in the black community. And I had a meme, and there are a lot of other memes that explain why men should pay all the bills and do all this kind of stuff. I'm going to explain why that's kind of a ridiculous expectation. It is. Just being in all honesty, it's a ridiculous expectation. And when you take in consideration everything that's happened, everything that's going on in history and leading up to now, it's an unrealistic expectation. And this one, this meme said dudes are quick to say women don't cook like grandpa. No, dudes are quick to say women don't cook like grandma used to, but y'all don't pay bills like grandpa used to either. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna explain this. Men don't pay bills like grandpa used to. Let me talk about the bill portion for a moment here. Back then, there weren't a whole lot of bills. You maybe had a light bill, water bill, maybe had a gas bill. Water bill probably was $8. Yeah, because I talked to other generations. I talked to the previous generation. Water bill was $8, round about. It was less than $10. The light bill wasn't even $100. And clothes and stuff like that. A lot of people made their own clothes. Clothes were a lot cheaper. Shoes were a lot cheaper. You had toothbrushes and things different. All the expenses were cheap. You can buy whole properties for like $1,200. Yeah, because I know people that were around this time. Everything was cheaper. You imagine being able to buy a house for $1,200, a little over $1,000, versus nowadays, or you can get a house maybe for $10,000. A modern house. Their modern houses back then, let's say they paid $30,000 for their houses. You can get a house for $30,000, $10,000. You can buy properties, buy land for $1,200. Some land was going for less than that. Okay? And nowadays, compare $30,000, $10,000 for a house to roughly $200,000 for a house and a mortgage. Mortgages are like $2,500 a month, $1,300 a month, $1,500 a month, $2,500. Yeah, $2,500. A lot of people are paying over $2,000 for a mortgage. Rent now is $800, $900 a month. They didn't have rent back then. You know why? Even when they did have rent, it wasn't this much. It wasn't anywhere near this much. Bills weren't anywhere near this much. So you're comparing men. You want men to pay bills that have quadrupled times 5, times 6, times 8. You have more. Women have more expectation on men. They're expected to do more now than they've ever done before. Man, because certain jobs now wouldn't pay the jobs that grandpa had back then, wouldn't pay these bills. They wouldn't. Grandpa wouldn't be able to pay these bills. You know why? And even back then, they built their own houses. That's another reason why you can't compare men of today to the men back then. A lot of men built their houses. They grew up. They passed down generations of knowledge. They was building their own houses. A lot of them, they didn't have car notes and stuff like that. You had car notes now. Car notes be $300 something a month. Insurance 2 some a month. You got car notes 3 some a month, 2 some for the insurance. Then you got $900 rent or $2,500 mortgage. You take your pick. Then you got the light bill. You got the water bill. The water bill is, some people's water bill be close to $100. Light bill be $200 something. Especially if you got a family. Your light bill's over $100. Car insurance, homeowners insurance, property taxes if you got a house on top of your mortgage. You want that man to pay all of that. Versus back then when they bought houses for $30,000, $41,000, some even further back $10,000. Grandpa probably built his own house, so he don't have rent, he don't have mortgage. He probably bought his car cash, so he don't have, he grew his own food, so he didn't have to worry. They didn't have to worry about groceries because he grew his own food. They hunted, they was fishing, they did stuff like this. When they went to the store, they probably got different things to season their food. Some people made their own season. Some people made stuff. They was making their own stuff. They had the gardens and stuff. So you can't compare. And then I'm gonna deal with it from the other prospect. Upbringing, background. Grandpa grew up with a shovel in his hand. Grandpa grew up with tools, building, fixing. Grandpa had both parents in the household. He had a mama, he had a daddy. The daddy was teaching him how to build, how to fix on stuff, how to keep the house up, how to keep the yard up. They was taught these things. They was taught how to work with their hands. Men of today, over 70% of them are raised by single mothers. Sure, they may teach them good character and morality and show them how to get education, but the thing that's missing is the man side. No matter how good of a mother you are, it's still going to be missing the man side. Like I said, what the man was teaching them, how to keep a house up, how to fix their house, how to do different things, and it may seem minor to women, but it was major. The father being missing. I'm gonna tell you why the father was missing. I'm gonna tell you why the father is missing in the households in a minute. But the father was teaching them trades. They was teaching them electrical work, plumbing work, sheetrock work, framing work, roofing work. They get up on top of the house and fix their own roof, gardening and upkeeping, landscaping. They was teaching them all these different trades. They learned multiple trades growing up. They was tilling the land. They go out in the backyard with a machete and keep the grass, keep the weeds and stuff down. Doing all this kind of stuff, putting their own fences up. They was the one doing all of that. They was doing it themselves. Someone was fixing their own cars. They learned all this from their father. Putting cabinets and stuff together, putting sheds together, they'll go out in the backyard and they'll build their own shed. Although, and men today are raised by single mothers. No offense to women, but y'all didn't learn all these different trades. So you raising a boy by yourself, you're not gonna be able to teach him all of this. There was the father back then was teaching them this. Before the mass incarceration of black men, before all that happened, it was mother and father. They learned certain things from their mom, and they learned certain things from their dad. How to build, how to do stuff. So versus the men of today, now you got they grew up, okay, get an education. So that's what they taught today. Get an education so you don't have to work with your hands. That's what these men are taught. The men back then were taught, look, you're gonna have to build, you're gonna have to grow, you're gonna have to fix your own stuff, you're gonna have to provide, you're gonna have to do this and this and that. They was taught XYZ, to build their own houses, to build and fix whatever they had, to provide by any means necessary. The men of today are taught, get education so you won't have to work with your hands. You see the difference? See the major difference? They go to school, they go to high school, graduate high school, some of them graduate college, and some of them just graduate high school, graduate college, whatever, and they think they can just get a job and provide. These men are just told to provide, but not taught how to provide. You see the big difference? And when they get out of school thinking they can get a job, ain't no jobs. Ain't nobody hiring in they field. They go study something in college, they get out, they can't use that degree. So now they gotta try to start at the bottom all over again. They gotta start at the high school level. They gotta go get a job at McDonald's. They gotta go get a job putting dirt in a hole. They gotta go back to working with their hands, which they've never been accustomed to. They never grew up doing it. They didn't acquire those skills growing up. They don't know how to fix nothing. They don't know how to build nothing. They was never taught. The absence of the father. They didn't learn those different skills. Women expect a woman to just tell you just be a man, provide. She'll tell you that. She'll raise you to do that. Just be a man and provide. But it takes a man to teach a boy how to provide. You have to learn how to provide. You can't just provide. See, women can provide like that. Women can do that kind of stuff because they don't have to. They learn other different things, other different skills, the way they don't have to work with their hands. But a man, he can't get by like that. A man, especially a black man, we have to learn how to work with our hands. We gotta learn how to build and how to do stuff. We can't get by like that. I had an education, had a degree and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't get around it. I still had to work with my hands. I didn't start making money until I learned how to work with my hands. But man, we have to learn manual labor. Because everybody can't be a doctor, lawyer, all that kind of stuff. Everybody can't be NBA player. Because a lot of mothers will tell their son, just try to get rich or try to go out for the NBA or just. That's why a lot of boys now, they want to be rappers. They want to be NBA players. They want to be something out there that's on the media. But reality is you have a less than 1% chance in becoming that. Everybody's not going to make it. You might be talented. You might have certain gifts. You might can sing. But everybody's not going to make it. They wasn't taught how to build, how to fix, how to do manual stuff. That's the problem. That's when that, and it's not the women's fault at all. Because a woman can only go for what she knows. She can only do the best she can with what she have, with what she knows. She can teach the boy. She can do the best she can with the boy, and teach him different how to be a man character-wise, how to be a man mentally. But she don't have the skill set to show him different things, different skills, welding, plumbing, how to do things with his hand. That's the only way he can. That's why a lot of boys now in the streets, because they don't have the skills. They can't fix on no house. They can't work on no car. So now they gotta go for what they know. That's the only thing they know is the streets. The only thing they know is they have limited knowledge. The only thing they know is what they learned in school. And what they learn in school is not going to take them through life. It's not going to help them provide and all that stuff. It's just knowledge. It's just different, because knowledge without skills and without trades and stuff, specialized training, you can't go nowhere with that. A trade, like I said, I think I said this in my other video, a trade will take you further than a degree. You could have a welding trade. You could be certified in welder. You can make more money than a man with a master's degree any day of the week. So what they've done, let me tell you why a lot of men don't have this opportunity. They can't learn what grandpa learned, because for one, there was a mass incarceration of our men. There was drugs put in our community. There was guns put in our community. Guns, drugs, and they took all the leaders. You know what I'm saying? All the leaders were taken out of the community. So now the whole generation worth of knowledge, the men that was telling their kids to build, to showing them how to get in the backyard and grow their own food, or go hunting, or go fishing, or to fix their own roof, or to put up sheetrock, or do plumbing work, do electric work, be able to frame up a house, be able to build a shed, to be able to lay bricks. These skills and tools wasn't passed down. A whole generation of knowledge was taken off the streets. They missed out on generations of knowledge because the mothers were left to raise the kids by themselves with the mass incarceration. So men was never taught to be men. This generation was never taught to be men. You have to be trained. They didn't have this training. They didn't get, because they just, you gotta provide. The man's a provider. You just gotta provide. Just provide. How am I provide? Just gotta provide. They're not being helped. They're not being taught. They're not being taught anything. They're not being given any kind of skills. So we can't expect these men to just up and provide without any training, without any kind of. They just grow up and you just send them to school, give them a tablet. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's not the women's fault. A woman can only do what she can do. She can only teach them certain things. She can only teach them what she know, but she can't teach them the stuff that grandpa knew. She can't teach them how to build a house. She can't teach them how to go hunting unless she likes hunting herself. Not certain skills. You got women that know how to build certain houses, learn how to do stuff. You got the old women that know how to do it, and they can teach their sons. But a lot of women don't know this, and they knew it. It was set up from the beginning. When the men were taken out of the household, when the men were taken out of the house, now you have, and you put drugs and guns in the neighborhoods, you know, and mama's got kids, and you know what I'm saying. You missing out on all the knowledge. All you see is drugs and guns in your neighborhood, and you see it on TV. You see it in the media. All you see is drugs, guns, and sex and violence. That's all you see growing up. You don't know. And nobody taught you how to build nothing. Now, nobody taught you how to fix nothing. But I taught you how to put nothing together. Now you expected to just be a man. As soon as you turn 18, gotta be a man now. That it's impossible. It's not gonna happen. You can't expect. See, our women have a higher education. They get educated. They taught to go. And the men, the average black man reads on a 4th grade level. You go look it up. The average black man reads on a 4th grade level. They're not taught nothing. Ain't nobody teaching them nothing. Ain't nobody training them. They don't have any training. And a lot of black women have education, have a college education, high school education, have degrees, master's degrees. The boys, they ain't read. They can barely read. The numbers are showing it. Our boys can barely read. I'm not saying this stuff to hate on the black community. No, I love black people. That's why I bring this stuff up. My last video was dedicated to men having unrealistic expectations and saying that, okay, a woman wants a provider. Now I'm talking to the women. We can't expect a man to provide if he was never trained. He was never taught how to provide. He never had the skills. Our men was providing because my whole message, our men was providing back then. Grandpa was providing because grandpa knew how to work with his hands. Grandpa was a pipe fitter. Grandpa was a welder. Grandpa was a brick mason. Grandpa was building houses, building sheds, fixing cars, building cars. He could put the air conditioning together. He could look at your car. He could take a car and put it together. Grandpa could fix anything that tear up in that house. You want to know why? Because he built that house. 9 times out of 10, he built it. He come home with a deer, with a rabbit, with something for y'all to cook. He had the skills. He had the training. It was passed down through generations. Generations worth of knowledge was passed down. Grandpa was doing all of this. The grandson wasn't taught none of this because his father was either incarcerated or they got him hooked on some dope. They done took him out of the house, or done killed him. You know what I'm saying? He was either killed off, thrown in prison for no reason. You can go look it up. There's stories out there now about innocent black men being thrown in prison. There was a bunch of them. They was being charged with murder. I've seen several documentaries. I've seen several videos. They got a movie out about it now. How one was, how they was doing it. Just Mercy, and all them different videos, and it's tons of it. It was going on for decades. How they was throwing innocent black men in jail for nothing. So now you got this going. You have that going on. There's a mass incarceration of black men. It may not seem like much, but generations of knowledge was taken off the streets. They couldn't pass that down to their son because they was in prison. They couldn't teach their son how to build a house because they was dead. They was killed off. Police will pull you over and just shoot you. That was during those times. All this was going on. Drugs, guns, and violence. The mama struggling to pay the bills. I'm just telling you what it is. And all he knows, so and you got drugs and guns and stuff, the only thing you see is the drug game. He gonna turn to the streets to try to do what he gotta do to provide. He just know a man's supposed to provide. He was never taught how to provide. That's the father, the guidance of the father. But if they taken off the streets, they incarcerated somewhere for no reason. How can he teach them? How can he show them? How can he show them anything? They didn't have the training. They don't have the upbringing. It's just not there. Like I said, the mama can do what she can. It's not the mama's fault though. It's the mass incarceration. It's when they was taking the men off the streets. When they put dope in the neighborhood, put crack, and put all that stuff in the neighborhoods. It killed the community. It killed it. It destroyed it. Destroyed our community. That's just what it is. I'm just being we get compared to men back then, when the men back then were killed off or thrown in jail. They weren't able to teach the men of today. That knowledge was lost. That whole generation of knowledge was lost. So you can't expect these men to be men when they don't have the training, they don't have the upbringing, they don't have the background. They didn't grow up doing what these men did. They didn't grow up building houses. They didn't grow up fixing cars. They didn't grow up hunting and fishing. They didn't grow up doing that kind of stuff. A lot of them didn't grow up doing it. They don't have the knowledge. All they knew was to go to school, and half of them couldn't, because a lot of them now read on a 4th grade level. You got some men now that are very intelligent, yeah, because a lot of them went to school, a lot of them got master's degrees, but they don't have the knowledge. They can't build and work and fix. And then on top of that, now it's hard to find a job. On top of that, they took all the jobs. A lot of factories is leaving. You go to the Mississippi Delta and stuff. They taking jobs away from there. They taking jobs away from some of these places. And then you got, on top of that, rent is $800-900 a month. If you got a house, you got a $2,500 mortgage, $2,000 mortgage. Car note $300, $300-something a month. Insurance $200-something a month. We don't have a chance. Then the women of today, they want men to pay all of that. You better pay all the bills. You ain't paying all the bills. My grandpa did it. Grandpa didn't have these kind of bills. Grandpa didn't have these bills. He didn't have to pay all this. He wouldn't have been able to pay it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Grandpa couldn't pay these bills. What he would have did, he would have said, screw this. I'm finna go buy me some land, and I'm finna go build my own house. Screw all that. I'm finna go build me a house. They wasn't paying this. He wouldn't have paid it. I'm finna go grow me a garden. These groceries too high. No, sweetheart. No. I'm finna go in the backyard. We're gonna grow a garden. I'm gonna go build us a house. I'm gonna build us a house. We ain't finna pay no $300,000 for no house. $500,000 for a house. That's too much. That's what Grandpa would have did. I ain't finna pay $800 for no apartment. I'm finna go build us a house. It's cheaper. It's actually cheaper. You know, in five years in renting an apartment, you can build a house. But it takes knowledge, it takes skills, it takes a strong mind, strong body. They knew that. They knew it. Grandpa knew this. That's why he didn't do this. He didn't pay no $2,500 for no mortgage. He didn't pay no $30,000-$40,000 for a car. He didn't do that. He'll take an old car and fix it up. That's what people don't understand. Men back then was getting it done because they was taught to get it done. Men of today, they wouldn't taught this. They wouldn't taught it's cheaper to go buy land and build your own house than it is to buy more, do this kind of stuff. You know? Now, I'm not taking away from real estate agents or anything like that. Whoever want to buy a house, because everybody got different ways. If you want to buy a nice house and stuff, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, we can't expect a man that don't have the skills, that don't have the knowledge to do this, to just buy a house for $300,000, to pay $2,500 mortgage, to pay a $900 rent in an apartment, to pay a $300 car note on top of that, $200 insurance, homeowners insurance, property taxes. Property taxes being $1,000 sometime every year, per year. So in some states, you have to pay property tax on your vehicle. I know because I lived in that state. You have to pay property tax on your vehicle. If you don't have insurance, they take you to jail. I know states like that. I know places like that. You don't have a chance. These men of today don't have a chance. Look at everything they have to deal with. Then it's hard to even find a job that pays enough to pay these bills. Their job's hiring for $10 an hour, for $12 an hour. All of the bills I mentioned, $12 an hour wouldn't put a dent in that stuff. $900, your rent $800, $700. The job that's available today cannot pay that stuff. Fast food restaurants and stuff, medical, they don't pay enough. They don't pay enough for you to pay these bills. Manual labor for men got, and you want to know there's something else? A lot of factories back then for men, a lot of manual labor jobs for men, they got paid way more than they get paid now. They got paid more. I'm talking about for the black community. We had our own, we had jobs in our community and stuff. They paid way more. The bills were way less, and they got paid way more. Now they taking the factories and taking all that stuff. You have way less opportunities, but way more bills. And men are expected to just pay it, just do it, without the training, without building the house, without knowing how to build a house, without the skills and stuff. They expect to just do it, just be a man. They just told to be a man and not taught how to be a man, not trained. And I told you why they not trained. Because they was a whole generation of them was taken off the streets. They don't have the upbringing. They don't have the background. So they can't. They expect to just be men. Just be a man. It's easy. No, it's not easy. That has to be trained. You have to be trained. Training. I use the word training for a reason. That's what it takes. Training. You can't get past it. You have to be trained. Train up a child in the way they should go. Train up a child the way they should go. Training. I'ma say it till I'm blue in the face, because that's what it takes. Just like an athlete, you can't just up and just be an athlete after years. If you ain't never worked out a day in your life, and all of a sudden now you decide you just want to, I'm gonna be an athlete. I'm gonna be a pro athlete. No. A lot of them, they started they've been doing it since they was 4 years old. LeBron James probably been playing basketball all his life. They didn't just start. You didn't just jump and be in the NBA. No. You didn't just jump and be a lot of these celebrities as artists. They didn't just jump up and just start playing music, doing music. They were doing that since childhood. Years of training. They didn't just jump on no keyboard or just jump behind a mic and start singing. No. From childhood. I just jump up and just be great. No. He was doing it since he was a child, early childhood. They was doing this since kids. They learned how to be men from childhood. They was being taught as boys how to be men. They started at an early age. Some of them at the age of 10, how to fix stuff, how to build stuff. This was embedded into them. because it takes training. It's not easy. That stuff has to be, because I know, because I was brought up that way. I had to learn these skills and learn these tools. It wasn't easy learning all that stuff, but that's what it takes. I had to learn this stuff: how to change tires, how to keep a car up, how to make sure that car stays up, how to, when something tear up in the house, how to fix it. That takes training. That takes years and years. How to remodel something. That stuff takes years, generations of knowledge. Hard work too. So it's not you can't compare that. I've been able to. I was fortunate to still have all my generations intact. You know what I'm saying? My father wasn't taken off the streets. My father wasn't in prison and stuff. He wasn't no junkie. So I was still able to acquire that knowledge, that experience, all that wisdom, all that knowledge, all that training. I was still able to acquire that. And I have the knowledge and all that kind of stuff. That's why I'm able to pass it down. That's why I'm able to display it. That's why I make content. Because every man of today wasn't fortunate to have that kind of knowledge passed down to him. Everybody didn't teach them how to build a house. Everybody didn't show them. Everybody didn't make sure they got an education. I got a college education. I got trades and skills under my belt. A bunch of them. Certification, licenses. Because of my upbringing. I was trained this way. I was trained to be like this. So everybody's not fortunate to have this. Everybody ain't fortunate. So don't think. That's why I do it from each perspective. I did it from the women's. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I did the women before. Now I'm doing the men. I'm taking up for the fellas today, and I explain why. Ladies, you can't compare men of today to men back then. Men of today were fed lies. They were told to go to school, you don't have to work with your hands. Men back then were told, get out there and work with your hands. You got to provide and work with your hands. They taught them how to provide too. They was taught and trained. But a lot of women, they expect a man to just do, but it takes a man to train them. Women know what y'all tell us what to do, what y'all want done, but it takes a man to show us how to do what y'all want done. That makes any sense? Y'all tell boys what to do to be a man, what it takes to be a man. It takes a mom to tell that boy that, but it takes a dad to show them how to be a man. She can tell you what you need to do to be a man. You got to do this, and that. It takes that dad to show them how to do that, this, and that. He has to show him X, Y, Z. She might know what to expect from a man. She might know what a man. Y'all might know what to expect from a man, because you seen your dads provide, you seen another father figure provide, you seen that. But that takes training. It takes a man to show that boy how to do those things. Just drive a car, it's easy. No, you got to learn how to drive that car. All you do is build a house. It's just all you got to do. You just got to build it. Ain't nothing to it. You have to learn how to do that. You got to learn each step how it go together. Certain things you have to learn. Like I said, it all boils down to training. And the men of today don't have that, because mass incarcerations, they put drugs in the neighborhood, put guns in the neighborhoods. You got media influence. You got people telling them if they get an education, they don't have to work with their hands, which is a complete and utter lie. It's a lie. You're gonna have to, if you're a man, you're gonna have to learn how to work with your hands, because you don't know. You don't know. Unless you have a special skill, unless you can sing like Michael Jackson, unless you can play like Michael Jordan. Everybody's not going to make it to those levels. That's 1%. That's 1%. You have a 1% chance, maybe even less than that. So we have to be more realistic towards our men. Have to be more realistic. Have to be more practical. This is what you get. The men of today, they don't know these skills. Some of them do, because some of them still had fathers. Some of them still had male influence. Some of them still had mentors. But a great deal of them didn't. If you want this type of man, you got to look at his upbringing. Look at his upbringing. See look at his background. You know. So a lot of them didn't have this background. A lot of them didn't grow up with tools and shovels and rakes and pitches and stuff. A lot of them didn't have this. It's just simply put. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. We can discuss it. If you disagree, let me know. We can talk about it. But that's it. T-Dubs signing out.